Hello, pile number one. Welcome to your reading. This is the fourth time I've started your reading because there is something that does not want me to speak on your guys' potential. You guys have certain forces around you, pile number one, that don't want you to step into the truth of who it is that you are. And something that you need to know is that your growth is something that is totally out of this world. Like, you can't put a worth on your growth, because the thing about you is there's a reason why you've met with so many different areas in your life that have conjured darkness, invoked darkness, especially within the living. And I'm sorry to have just jumped in right like that, but I needed to get it out because I keep getting stopped. And that's because you guys have worked with and probably exercised as well as dispelled as well as disillusioned people around real demons. You know, not the fear of people that then conjure the fear and the energy. I mean the real ones. You get me? Like, the other thing that I really, really need to put into this reading is to really highlight the fact that what your guides wanted me to remind you, or the energy, was that you guys are a bringer of genuine blessings. And the reason why it's genuine is because you ground people and you cleanse people and you purify them. You help them to rectify mistakes that they've made, and you've probably helped to rebuild people up, or given people an outlook that there is like a life after something. Say for example, addiction, crime, self-loathing, like horrible life. You could have started from the bottom, you know what I mean, and worked your way up. You could have really gone from very large extreme experiences of life. You've really learned a lot of lessons around duality. And something else that I need to say, I've got a mirror in front of me, so I will be mirror scrying for messages, but I've also got the sage lit, so just reminding you guys I'm scrying from this too. But something that I need to remind you is brought up by the divine is that you're a seer through excuses and negativity of projection. You're very good at grounding yourself into taking ownership when you are in a self-reflective state. So a lot of you might even be sensitive to large crowds, which is why when you spend a lot of time in different types of people and around different types of energies, you could sometimes become sensitive to what belongs to you and what does not. So there's a little bit of encouraging advice here that you guys take time out by yourself to regenerate yourself, repower yourself. And the way that you do that is by becoming centered with who it is that you are in that moment. Whether that is the feelings of any side of the spectrum, you'll know what I mean, pile number one. So I also see here that you guys purify apathy, creative blocks. That's a soul lesson that you guys could have been going through. And I also think that you guys have a protective and caring nature. So you're very sensitive to the collective consciousness as well as nature in itself. So you guys are being reminded that you have the ability to cast out dark energies within people around you, but the times that you struggle to is when you have dark feelings about yourself within yourself. You are a master conduit, at least that is in your potential here, pile number one. And this is why you bring genuine blessings, because you clear spaces, you clear stagnant energy, you give revelations to people, and you conquer demonic spirits. Some of you guys could even paranormal researchers, I just heard. That came through weird. That sounded like it came through a spirit box. Some of you guys might even do that. Please don't just go out doing that. This is people who are already experienced. Um, but you guys are really powerful in energy, so you guys need to stay grounded a lot. And because you're so susceptible to the sensitivities and the shifts within the energies, you guys might shift a lot too, which might kind of throw you off sometimes. You could be doing one thing and then shift your energy all of a sudden. You guys might also experience or live with ADHD for some of you. In my culture, you are what we would call a tohunga. You guys could be priests, priestesses, divine masculine and feminines as well. I also think that you guys, the shadow work that you guys have had to do recently is to say yes more, especially to opportunities that come towards you. And for those of you who are religious, like Christian or Catholic, I also see here that you guys, you help to conquer the sin of sloth. You motivate people because you give them empowerment messages which pushes them or drives them through. Just so you're saying, I don't know, sorry. Anyway, let's move on a little bit here. So, guides, guardians, universe, energies, and service of the highest and greatest good of those who are here viewing pile number 1. When you're grounded in integrity, pile number 1, you receive premonitions of the future, especially when it's stuff involving things like karma. So you guys could be really good at, before I touch on this card, you guys could be really good at seeing into the consequences of actions or options for yourself and for others. Please know that you shouldn't blame yourself for the darkness that you've experienced. They've taught you really, you've been learning the truth of who it is that you are through your life experiences. And the truth is who you're choosing to be. The consistency and the devotion to creating a better life should say more than enough. And I think you should be proud for yourself. Some people will say that pride is not a good thing to have, but in all honesty, to have a healthy esteem, you must be in control of a healthy pride. If you have a desire to live, you have a pride. You know what I'm saying? And to take pride in something means to also protect it. And you guys are known as like spirit warriors, protectors of lands, places, people, and things. You could also premonition collective movements, by the way, like trends. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this card here, what have we got? We've got proper burial for freedom. You help put into negativity, dark forces in life, dark attachments within people, and misunderstandings of self. You help people to get back in touch with who it is that they are and bring balance to who it is that they are. I would also say that you guys, I just saw a lotus opening, so you guys bring peace and tranquility to people outside of you, whether you know that or not. You also help people to see into the past, pile number 1. Some of you guys, you help people to understand what led them to the consequence or their current situation, present situation that they bring to you. You'll get a lot of trauma dumpers, I would say, from this card being here. We have the flower of life just came out, which is funny because I saw like the lotus opening, and that's a lotus in the background. Divine creativity and manifestation. So I think I just heard you're like no other, by the way, so I don't know. where that even came from. Yeah, the way you work to heal people or bring people together or bring things into balance or to even rectify situations is very unique. I think you guys hold a higher perspective that helps people to purify themselves, and this could be like something completely unique to you. Because I'm looking at the hawk and also the vulture totem, which is being highlighted to me intuitively. Then we have the divine sun child. Yeah, you bring blessings to people through helping people to understand higher perspective, higher understanding, and teaching people what they can take ownership over to then change their course, change what they are creating in their life. This is something that you should appreciate about yourself as well, because it's something that will be proven to hold great worth for you. Serpent of fire, priestess of the serpent, sisterhood. I keep hearing serpentine. Um, So I see here that you guys are going to create something that is going to end up being completely transformative in time. So your abilities are still growing, whether you know this or not. You guys are going to end up mastering something that is completely unique to you, and it's all going to come through your natural talents. I think you guys hold back on yourself though with the serpentine of fire being here, because I'm looking at the cobra and then I'm intuitively seeing it like wrap around her legs, stopping her from moving or walking. So it's like you're submitting to the truth of your power. There might be an intimidation of what you're truly capable of achieving in your life. But people see your creativity as something that is admirable. The way that you look at life and the way that you grow through your challenges of life, through the mistakes, how you choose to be better, how you choose to evolve, how you choose to learn as well. And you always end up coming out on top because you always, once you know better, you do better. You know what I'm saying? So nothing can really stop you or hold you back, and this is admirable about you. You've overcome a lot of things that a lot of other people couldn't. um, I don't know, perhaps you bet something as well that would have killed other people. Perhaps you could have gone through a near-death experience and then started experiencing a lot of paranormal things like the spiritual realm. It could have activated your mediumship. Mm. I also see here that you guys could also practice in protection methods. Yeah. And some of you also need to be careful on what you listen to within music, because you align to what you listen to, which means you could be feeling a whole bunch of things that doesn't even belong to you through the music. Music can touch our feelings quite deeply, so just be aware of that, because once you align to it, you create through that. It becomes your mindset, it becomes your feelings, it becomes your actions, and then it's something that you cycle throughout the day. And the more you do that, the more adjusted your internal world becomes to that energy. So this is saying you being consciously aware, or how it is that you're consciously aware of what you create and the impact that you pass on. It's almost like everything you do is quite intentional. I think you're very self-aware for the most part, pile number one, and that is something that is admirable about you. You've had to heal yourself through a lot of struggles that a lot of other people couldn't have faced or overcome or gone through, and this is something that makes you admirable, as described by the divine. Let's move on to another deck here. Okay. What makes pile number one admirable as described by the divine, please? The path that you could have chose but you didn't. That is what the divine says that many other people admire about you the most. You could have gone down a much worse path, but you chose to stop and heal yourself. With this card being here, I think you guys have had to do a lot of healing around feelings of guilt or feelings of, it's like, I don't know the word, but giving up. surrendering, but in a very low vibrational way. I think you guys have experienced being your worst enemy, pile number one, and I tend to find myself saying this quite a bit. But I think you were silenced. You had to reclaim your power, your freedom of thought, your freedom of speech, your freedom to choose how to live. You had to really work your way outside of oppression, and that's another demon slain, is what I just heard. You could have felt like you were surrounded by demons or a curse all your life that you had to break. And I don't know why this keeps coming up, but I think you've gone through a process of learning what it means to discover who it is that you truly are through your life experiences, and it's given you a much deeper insight into how to relate to others. Once again, I just heard again that you're a living example. You're a living example that there is life after something. There isn't many examples in. Does it make sense? Some of you guys could have even survived like domestic abuse, you know, things like that. I'm so sorry. But I'm also glad that you are who you are today. And you are who you've chosen to be, pile number one. I also think you could have dealt with narcissists quite a bit, or like drama queens, or like people who were addicted to like bad stuff. And it could have influenced you a lot. It was encouraging probably really bad potentials within you, and you could have dabbled in a bit of that as you were growing. You guys could also be wanting to grow outside of a particular way of living life, and I think you guys are seeking methods of self-soothing. So you guys are needing to delve into the truth of your creativity by embracing it more, by saying yes more, by allowing yourself to really explore what you're capable of. Because you might know what you can do, but you might not really be in practice or exercise of that. And the energies that are here are saying that once you start to do that, people are really going to admire how you grow your potential intentionally yourself. You're always on a path to evolving into better means, and you live to the best of the means that you are able to. Does that make sense? Like, you don't live beyond what you know is responsible, and that helps you to accumulate. That's how abundance works. You accumulate. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of people would have misunderstood you in the past, but I see here coming up in the near future, people are going to be stalking you to learn about you and learn about the misunderstandings that they've had about you, and they're going to grow from you whether they like it or not. This is more about like you just being yourself, and you staying grounded in your capacity to love people and understand that, you know, people display who they are to the depth of their own knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? So if they're horrible to you, I feel sorry for them, because that just means that they feel that self-hatred to be projecting it on you for no reason, unless you give them a reason. But even then, you know, yeah. You guys have an ability to read between the lines, and you don't let people give you excuses, which is why people become triggered by you, and that's the truth. You intimidate people because you make them confront the truths of life in themselves. You make people take ownership whether they like it or not, because you've had to do it a lot yourself, and you live by that. And I think you've seen a lot of positive benefits that have come from taking ownership and redirecting your own path, your own narrative. You know what I'm saying here, and this is something that makes you admirable by the divine and those who see the divine in you, pile number one. Those are the messages I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope this has come a positive service, and with all that being said, until next time, bye. Hello, pile number two, and welcome to your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're going to be taking a look into reasons why you are admirable as described by Spirit, the divine. And it seemed that there were some bystanders who have come through in the energy as well. So if anything else comes through, I'll pass on those messages, because I noticed that was a theme in pile number 1. So pile number 2, please, guides, guardians, and universe. I do have my mirror in front of me, so I will be mirror scrying, and I've also got my sage to my side burning a little bit, so we might be doing a bit of reading into that. I'll just let the energies guide the way as usual. So let's see what's in the energy. Do you guys feel like you've recently messed something up? I just heard think twice. It's not. It's not at a lost cause. Like, if you feel like you made a mistake recently, whatever that mistake might have been, the thing that's been weighing most heavy on you that you could have either given up on or accidentally made a mistake in, don't worry about it. It's repairable, it's fixable. It's more so like you need to take the risk to put into action what you know you should have been doing, or are ready to do, I should say. That's what it more feels like. Okay. Sorry guys, I don't know why that was so like confusing for me for a second there. I just heard that you guys are a grounded guide towards true victory. You guys also have a funny thing with time. You guys could even have like really good time management, or you guys are in alignment with the universal alignments. Like, you guys are very sensitive to the cosmos and the shifts within the cosmos, so you could pick up intuitively or claircognizantly. Oh yeah, you do. You get lots of things. You guys could even be into astrology. You could have a very wide perspective of experience, and that comes through human trial. But I also think as though you guys look very deeply into things. You have like a spiritual gift for retaining information that comes from your clear cognizance, pile number 2. I remember this video that I saw years ago now, and it was of this little boy who was learning in school, and they were all dressed up like monks. So I don't know if it was a ministry or something, but there was a whole bunch of these kids and they were reading books, but there was this one boy in the class, and he was practicing an ancient method, and he had the book, and every single page he flipped, he would grab his hands, go like this, pick up the energy from the book, and then place it onto his head and flow it through him. I thought it was funny because of the way that it was recorded, and it wasn't until later I sat there and I meditated on it, and I was like, okay, maybe he was actually practicing something more, which was why they were filming it. I don't know, but that's what made me think that you guys download information claircognizantly. You guys have a very well developed intellect. And I think you guys talk or convey information really, really well. It's something that shocks people a lot. You shock people a lot. Just so you know. So I also just heard that you guys have an expanded intelligence about human behavior. Your self-awareness has tapped you into like a deeper understanding of human behavior outside of you. You guys could be really good at reading body language. Yeah, seeing auras for some of you as well. Okay, let's see. That's something that you guys wanted me to remind you about. So you also dispel ignorance within people because of the way you present information. You might back yourself up with what you say. Like, you don't say things unless you know for sure. I think you really care about the messages that you pass on to people as well. I think people also fear the power of your voice, pile number 2, just so you know. A lot of people also respect it too, though. And I just heard, well, people just need to not talk caca. You know, like, yeah, I don't know. People, you're very good at calling people out. Pile number two, especially if they're giving like false information, false facts or something. You're very good at pointing these things out, but from a place that doesn't have to like personally attack. Like you're just good at putting information forward where you're like, oh, well, actually this is the facts, and then it becomes unarguable. People don't want to look stupid in front of you. People admire your ability to use your voice for goodness as well, like the way that you choose to encourage and speak is powerful. So we also have shine from within coming out of the deck here. What makes you admirable is you choose to be exactly who it is that you are at all times. I think you also know that true beauty is more than just what we see on the outside. You're a genuine person, and you're very passionate and you're very strong with what it is that you feel and how you feel. I think you also focus and your focus and concentration is a gift. You could also send out intention healing like Reiki, which comes through the power of focus and concentration. You might also be people who have an attraction to science, philosophy, literature, mathematics, physics, quantum physics, astrology, numerology. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you also have an attraction to like ancient studies or cultures. You might have like a particular place in the world that you've always been like really, really attracted to. Might be good to go and look into like the mythology or the spiritual beliefs or religions that come from the country. Because you guys are spiritually inclined, I believe, but you do it in a way where you're able to intellectualize and logically make sense of things that are greatly misunderstood. Yeah, I also think that you are quite non-biased. As long as people are honest with you, you're very accepting individual, you know. Okay, so I think people also appreciate how they can come to you and exchange unfamiliar experiences and how open-minded you are and how good at listening you are. I think some of you guys could also have a gift for dream interpretation. And then we have hope. Yeah, that makes sense. So you heal people with the ability to motivate people and bring back hope or inspiration. You're very good at giving people what they need at the perfect time because you're sensitive to the energy. You're very good at making sense of things, but you're also a provider of protection, especially against things like envy and jealousy. It's spite. It feels like spiteful energy from other people. Once again, you make people feel dumb, so usually they shush once you get involved, especially if it's educational topics or debates, things like that. You have a powerful voice and a very fast wit about you, I would say here. But you brighten up the world around you, pile number two, whether you know this or not. You teach from what it is that you know, which provides effective results for people outside of you, which is why people see you as a grounded guide towards victory, because you never speak about what you don't know, and you never speak on things or claim to know things that you don't really have experience with or background with or insight to. I think you, once again, could be really talented with studies. If you guys have an exam coming up, by the way, like if you study and have exams or something, or you went back to school, I see you guys doing really well with that. Because once again, your ability to retain information is something that's like a gift. And if you've ever seen like the movie of The Unfortunate Events, and Klaus, the boy who's like a savant, he remembers everything and he's a genius and stuff like that. Maybe he's not a savant, but yeah, he's a genius because his ability to retain information is like incredible and immeasurable. You guys have like an infinite bank of information that is useful at all different times for different types of people, and it's in all different sorts of life circumstances and situations, and this is something that makes you admirable. I think you are also very good at seeing the positives within the negatives as well, pile number two. So you're able to make the best out of what it is that you have, or do the best to do your best to put into action what you can. 2 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. I had to go and check on my daughter. Okay. I thought she had woken up, but she's not. She's sound asleep. Okay. Just go ahead and take a look into what it is that those who surround you admire about you. How much you've overcome. You've ascended a lot of challenges. I see. You've also brought light to a lot of things that a lot of people didn't once believe in. Are you guys trendsetters? Revealers of truth. I have my hot water bottle because it's freezing. But yeah, I see here that what people admire about you is that there is no uncertainty that you will allow to overcome you. I think you're very good at creating a way when there was no way. And I also want to say that you probably, once again, you're seen as a teacher by people outside of you because you're a grounded leader towards what people would call true victory. So people want to be on your side. They know that you are people who want to provide protection. People believe in you, and people know that you won't lie to them because once again you dispel things like ignorance, misunderstandings, and lies. You're truth seekers, and I believe that success for you, people have learned, is ensured. Because you're always learning and you're always putting in the right sorts of forms of effort, and when you don't have the energy to, you won't. You know how to channel your energy very well to help you to keep growing or going. In other words, I think you're also very good at teaching people about how it is that they don't see themselves, that they need to understand about themselves to then get past their own challenges and struggles. You provide a lot of options for people, always to look into things. Pile number two, please. How would the divine describe why it is that they're admirable or seen as admirable by the people around them? People admire your understandings of philosophy, karma, mysticism, with the blue avians coming out here. You guys might even have a strong understanding of things like light language, other realmly beings. You might even have a connection to like cosmic beings, star beings. And people admire your understanding of the astral realm as well. Some of you guys create art, but you're seen as messengers. I also want to say here, pile number two, that people see you as exalted, because once again, you guys are like messengers of the hidden realms here. And they see you always like getting success because you're always continuously learning along the way. Spirit also want you to know that you guys are being healed during, some of you guys are being healed during your sleep state, or during dreams, which could also involve daydreams. The things that are going on right now are helping you to process deeper emotions, and it's revealing wisdoms about transcending inner challenges. I also see here with the portal of light and also the blue avians that you guys are being taught new ways of reflecting, interpreting, and gaining insights. You guys might also find yourself starting to become more attracted to things like literature, symbolism, carvings from ancient cultures, the resurfacing of lost insights, magics, teachings. I see some of you guys also have like a connection to past lives, but this is like seeing the root of people's passions and talents. You're very good at helping people to determine where it is that they can apply their skills and talents, that will provide like service for the world outside of them, as well as like self-fulfillment as well, and service to life mission. You know what I'm saying here. Okay. You might also find yourself being attracted to new philosophies, new forms of music, and I want to say, did I say ancient arts? Because I keep saying symbols like carvings on walls or something. Okay. So I think the more faith you put into what you believe in, especially into spirit and spirit's protection, the more you strengthen their ability to do so. That's like seen as your permission. Your faith is your permission. Does that make sense? Just so you know, and that's something that they wanted to remind you of as well, or like wanted me to ensure for you. If you've doubted that you have spirit guides around you because you can't see them or feel them or experience them in a particular way that you thought you should have, there's no denying that they're there with you, is what I just heard. That came from my guides, which is interesting. Okay. So we have the Lyran, strength, courage, and bravery. What this is kind of telling me, since that message of protection came through, is take a risk on yourself and go ahead and do what you know you've been guided to. As long as you're leading through what you know is right and what you know is going to work, and your past, having learned from your past experiences, you guys will overcome anything. And also you're going to prove to yourself how valuable your talents and skill sets are. It's going to come in a greater service later. Some of you guys could even be doing more arts yourself, things like carving, ley lines. I'm saying like ley lines, seed of life, like creating new things that are going to affect a lot of different sorts of people. You guys could even have a different sort of understanding of how the law of divine oneness moves through the collective. This is saying speak about it more if it's you. Okay, so what else makes pile number 3 admirable before we close this reading? We have the Andromedans, your free will, manifestation ability, and autonomy. Yeah, you guys are pretty much manifesting the life that you are wanting and deciding for yourself. You guys are like the masters of your ship, the conscious creator, the grounded leader, the exalted one, the one that is ensured positive success. You guys are like given premonitions and understandings, inspirations, or insights and wisdoms. And I think it all comes through what you understand your own spirituality to be, your own physical, mental, and emotional well-being. All of that together, everything about you collectively is your psyche. It is your everything. And you have a deeper understanding of yourself, how you work, and you guys could even have a special philosophy for yourself as well. And whatever it is that you're being guided to share more in new ways or expanded ways, I would say go ahead and do that, because it's going to create massive amounts of change in your world and in your life with this card being here. Because can you see how everything's changing on different dimensions? I feel like that's what's happening for you too, but it's all being guided and directed by you. So those are the messages I have for you today. That is something else that the energy says is admirable about you, especially right now. With all that being said, pile number 2, thank you so much for being here today, and until next time, bye. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your guys' reading. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to be taking a look into what it is that is admirable about you as described by the divine. So let's go ahead and take a look into that energy. I think, so, you know, general reading, guys, so take what resonates with you and leave behind what doesn't for the next listener. But there are some of you here who have recently gone through like a separation, a breakup, You guys could have left a career behind, a certain path of understanding or belief, like, I don't know, converted religions or something. I don't know. That's not for all of you. I think something that you guys need to be reminded of is that you have a unique connection to source, and no one can tell you how that is, how that works, what that is, who your source is. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day what faith system you devote yourself to, as long as you're not hurting anyone or yourself. As long as you are true in the faith of what you are partaking in. And what you are partaking in is also true to what is said to be believed or practiced or worshipped. I don't see why it would be a problem. I don't think there needs to be. I think you guys could be like this, or some of you guys could be like this, and I'm hearing it coming through the light. So there's no particular person saying it. It's just energy that's there. Follow the patterns of truth through all religions, and you will see what is firm, because it has lasted the test of time through many different perspectives, many different dimensions of consciousness, many different types of cultures and people. The truth that is found everywhere is a universal truth, which means it is a source truth. This usually gets people a lot closer to who they want to know to be God. If you are seeking God, that is where you can start if you wish to. The other place is starting with your love and learning what love is and how love can express itself in the best possible ways. Another way of finding God is having everything taken from you through ego death. Starting all over again, the reinvention of self and the rebirth of self. Another place that people find God is through tragedy, pile number 3. I think you have found God in all these places, probably more. And I think something else that you need to be reminded of is that you guys prioritize fairness and the respect or like the rights of others, and this creates like a foundation of equilibrium or balance where people don't have to be so guarded. They let their guards down around you because they trust you, pile number 3, and this is something that makes you admirable. You are someone who is known as a restorer of justice or the rectifier of errors, and that's what I'm hearing being echoing. That's what I hear echoing. I just heard echo chambers. Perhaps you feel like there are people who have been copying you, or perhaps you are very good at pointing out people who don't mean what they say. Perhaps sometimes, a lot of the time, you feel like you're speaking information to people who are there, they're just not listening. Yeah, I just saw like words go through one ear and out the other, so it's like you guys don't feel like you guys are being listened to or heard. Or you guys feel like there aren't enough people around you who also value or see the value of what you deem to be as principles, values, things that should be important for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, something about you is that you modify and alchemize energy. Pile number 3, you shift and redirect things like negativity. Okay, just shuffling my cards here. So for pile number 3, please, Divine. What makes pile number 3 admirable? All those that are here. So please take what resonates once again and leave behind what doesn't. Not all of the messages are going to resonate with you guys. It is a general reading, so I try and talk to as many people as what I can in ways that they can interpret for themselves. Okay. So I also feel like you've done very well overcoming fears. Your fears. especially of community. Perhaps you guys have opened yourself up recently to different types of experiences than what you were used to or would usually be open to experiencing. There could have been a misunderstanding that put you off being around a lot of people. You could have had trust issues that you guys have also been healing. I think you guys have I'm seeing like a horse like galloping. There were defense mechanisms that you thought were keeping hurt out, but really it was keeping hurt boxed in. And you guys have recently kind of jumped out the field and noticed that what you needed was boundaries, not limitations. And I think you've done really well at noticing where it was that you were holding yourself back from true fulfillment and happiness. So the next card was freedom. I think you're seeing the importance of keeping balance in your life now, and you've learned the true wisdom behind it. I think you're finding that true joy comes from simplicities in life. The simple pleasures, you know what I'm saying? Being fulfilled by that, as well as helping you to purify yourself of all that has been weighing you down. You guys have probably got a whole different perspective of life and the importance of self-love now, pile number 3. You're seeing how much self-love actually impacts your life. And now, because you're getting back in touch with who it is that you really are, you're learning how to speak through your authentic voice. Balanced as well, what shifts energy quite rapidly. So be careful what you speak, especially through your monologue. Your words are going to start to manifest quite rapidly outside of you. Only speak what you believe in, and speak intentionally, and it will create the change it is that you've been seeking. You will start to see what you speak manifest, and that's something else that you need to be made aware of and reminded of. Yeah, there's going to be great changes coming up that you might not necessarily expect, but it's going to heal you and lead you towards much better times, much more positive results, and much more positive dynamics shared with your own relationship with self, which then shifts the dynamic of the relationships you share with other people too. Pile number 3. So something else that you need to know is that you help people to see what they need to do to take control of what we call inner peace. You help direct people back to the home of themselves. You are your own healer. I get it now. You're your own healer, and you might learn about what it means to heal through what you attract in other people. I also think that you have a powerful voice. Once again, your affirmations charges the energy around you, so you have a very powerful voice. I think you speak to the nature of people, which helps them to grow and to demolish or cleanse and clear out the nature within themselves that has died and needs to be replenished. You know what I'm saying? You help people to do inner work. You could even be known as like a shadow guide, so you help people to confront the truths of what they oppressed, are traumatized by what they hold on to that holds them back and affects the quality of their life. And you do this while calling on the higher forces and sources, spirit guides, angels, source. And then you help to welcome back. You have to welcome back like healing, because it's your genuinity that powers your healing abilities. It truly is. You remind people that there are still good people in the world. Pile number 3. Yep. And you lead them into a whole different experience of life as it is. Yeah, with the transformation card and the angel assistance coming out here, you help people to remember or to tap into God. You probably catalyze people to look into the deeper meanings of life as well. I think there are people who also listen in on you, intervene a lot. Be careful with what you share with the world around you, or who might be over listening as well. I think you guys have the ability to correct or rewrite understandings and perspectives or misunderstandings of the past. You show people that everything is necessary in one way or another. And you help to tell people the consequences of what others are going to experience for not answering or showing up in life in the ways that they should have or wish that they would have now. Like, I feel like you guys had a recent injustice or something that could have happened a while ago but was really hard hitting. I feel like that's going to be coming full circle very soon if you haven't started to see the results of that yet. Yeah. Okay, so what is admirable about those who are viewing pile number 3 as described by the divine, please? We have the abundance of sloths. So something that is admirable about you is that you see the good in all things. And you're very resourceful, so you're very good at making good things into even better things. You multiply things, by the way, somehow, and I don't really know how or what that means, but you do. You're very good at calling out the root cause of people's issues. You see through distractions or past distractions, and it helps you to really look into what needs targeted to be healed, to be let go of, to be understood, recognized. And when you do, you help people to move forward or help yourself to move forward. You're not scared to confront what is, and that's what keeps you creating like true sustainable results in life. This is a part of your destiny. Things fall around in other people's lives when they're around you. Like, everything that is false collapses in other people's lives. And it always happens when you come around in their life, because nothing that is less than true is able to exist around you. It's because of how true you are to yourself and what it is that you believe in, what it is that you see as of value. And because you guys are like oracles, you guys, I don't know, there's some care that you guys are devoted to, and it inspires people. It helps people to rectify errors in their own lives. You know what I'm saying here? I think that's why people do see you as someone who's like someone who restores karmic justice, because you help people to see the goodness that came out of the bad, and you help people to see the bad that was in the good. And it opens people's minds up to the consequences of what they do moving forward. You help people to think in totally different ways than what they would have before you. So we also have the pillar of light. This talks about teaching people higher wisdom so that they can ascend or transcend past things that weigh them down or jeopardizes the goodness that they can give to the world around them and that they can receive from the world outside of them. Yeah. You put true understanding to things that people have misunderstood for long times, and you help to remind people what they deserve as well. Like, I think you're very good at calling out what they didn't deserve to go through. You validate people, you clarify things for people, you listen to people, and you just show up wholeheartedly. And this is something that is admirable, because in a world of so many fake things, you are one of the most realist, most solid truth in many people's lives, pile number 3, and you don't probably even know that. You guys feel really awkward a lot of the time, especially socially, but people don't see you that way, so just know that. Pile number 3, if you do feel awkward in the world around you. We have life restored, priestess of the phoenix. Yeah, you help people to kind of become whole again or start again, especially during times of like destruction in their lives, or loss or despair, grief, or like when people give up. You know what I'm saying? That you provide like a safe space for refuge of those who feel like they've got nowhere to go, they don't know where to start, or they don't know how to like just be true with themselves. A lot of people would come to you when they need reality checks, I would say, pile number 3, or like that when they really, really need true, proper, like guidance of how to handle things. People see you as really wise, and that makes you admirable, as described by the divine here. I just saw a shield as well. So you protect people from lies and deceit, and you purify manipulation, masks of people. By the way, I think this is part of your North Node. You've learned a lot of lessons around deceit and manipulation, or like hostile energy. Yeah. Some of you guys will have an attraction to things like true crime, darker sides of psychology, uh, darker sides of human capability as well. You're very analytical, and you're very good at, I think some of you guys are pioneers, by the way, but yeah, you guys are just very good at investigating information and predicting things as well from the information that you gather. You guys, I'm getting like Sherlock Holmes. You know what I'm saying here. So your presence invokes a lot of inner comfort, because you allow people to be vulnerable and truthful, and to remove any masks or defense mechanisms themselves, and you just let people be themselves. um, and that's a huge gift to a lot of the people around you, and that's something that's admirable about you, because I don't see you as very judgmental people. You're just very honest people, and you hold people accountable, so you're not going to get very many fakes or phonies in your space a lot of the time. So if you feel alone a lot of the time, it's because people are scared of what you're going to understand about them. And when they're not ready to really confront the truth of what they're doing, they try to avoid you because you make them do that. And there's a lot of people around you who have reasons to be sorry, by the way, to you. But I think with the type of person that you are, you're very forgiving, and you are very understanding that people don't really always know the true damage that they do, especially when they don't know themselves. Because they don't give themselves chances to get to know themselves, whereas you provide a space for people to do that. And that's something that's really admirable about you. Your patience and your willingness to accept and see past mistakes is something that a lot of people will never forget about you, and that's something else that is very admirable. So those are the messages I have for you today, pile number 3. Thank you so very much for stopping by, and with all that being said, until next time.